here's my thing. Everybody knows? Oh, I'm Lindsay McDonald. Hello, everybody. Okay. I am a big supporter of a better Jamaica. Whether it's green or orange, I don't care. It's Jamaica. What I find through social media is I've begun to hate politicians, and I've cursed them out a lot till my father called me one day and said, please stop doing that. Stop. I said, okay, Daddy. But my point is, I know that you get cursed off a lot because of what you post, and I will admit that when I look on your posts, I don't curse, but I more feel like you know the person, if that makes sense. You feel like you know you. But I realize that you don't answer back, or you're not. So you don't retaliate, you don't cuss online, you're not defensive at all, which I rate. And Julian is also like that. So my question to you is there a reason why you don't, okay, stop before that. Is there people online, no wait, because I don't want to call my name, you know how hard that is, oh my God. That's the problem, and I'm not trying to. Me and you cuss a lot. But it's my thing, is that I feel like when I go on Twitter especially, I feel like politicians are there for their agenda. And that's fine, that's great, you can go on. But sometimes I think that being there for their agenda, feel upon them as stupid because they're fighting against things not necessarily for the better of Jamaica, but for their own good. So my question to you is, sometimes when people ask you questions, you don't respond. How do you choose what to respond to and what to post and that kind of thing?
Well, the first thing, thank you, Lindsay. The first thing, I don't want people to buck up who I am. So I don't want you to see one persona in public and then all of a sudden something comes out and you say, well, we didn't know that about you. So yes, I go to the beach. Yes, I have a value system. Yes, I have a child. Yes, I get tired, etc. And I do answer some of the questions, particularly those that I find are data-driven. The ones that are purely emotive, I tend to stay away from. But typically, I'm also not a person who's defensive. And my natural personality is not to get into a confrontation with anybody. So I've always maintained a very calm personality in terms of dealing with things. And it's the same thing on social media.
But if the opposition support something that you say, right? And they're on it and they're
well, that is the opposition. No, that's the opposition's job. So you have there are things, and you have to also know. I think one of the benefits I have is that I've studied communications. So you also have to know when people, like certain media houses, are using your brand to sell their newspaper. And you also have to know when not to make a story a story. So if I answer the opposition, it's going to become a story. And they have content. So you have to be able to analyze all of those things. People think I have a publicist. I don't. No, I don't. I don't have a PR team. I don't have a publicist. I don't have any of that. All of what you see is me sitting down and doing it because I have the expertise to do it. And I think people don't realize that that's what I did. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chairman. Any other questions? I am Bianca. Bianca Wells. Here today, I guess, in my context, more as a blogger, but just general digital media. No, this is really more for my three brands up here. Social media obviously is a way for you to get across the values of your brand. And one of the things we've started to see more recently in Jamaica is somebody mentioned at some point, I think it was Terry maybe, where employees' personal brands can be assets or liabilities. And we're starting to see the impact of that, where brands are now being faced with
taking some amount of responsibility for the behavior of their employees online. Just this afternoon before I came here, there was an incident where a local media company was forced to make a statement based on some comments made by one of their employees. It was not the Keynote. So, no. But this was not one of their marketing employees or their brand managers or anything like that. This was another employee who was publicly an employee of the organization. And they found themselves having to go and say, well, his statement does not represent the values, etc. And so I was just curious how your brand, if you have put that into your social media policy, so not just the employees who actually have responsibility for social media, but are you actually paying attention to what your other employees are doing online and how you handle if there's some sort of
okay, so speaking personally, when I got more seriously involved in social media as a job, I actually first worked in international relations after I did my master's degree. I went, when I started marketing, or marketing again, after my master's, I went and I cleansed my accounts. Before I started working, I went onto each platform, I took about an hour, and I went back about a year and a half into Twitter, and I cleaned everything I could find. My Instagram got scrubbed of anything that I thought might be nefarious, because you don't know where you're gonna work, you don't know what corporate values are going to be into. So you have to be cognizant of that. And also when I was 16 or 17, 18, social media was just starting. So you weren't sure of the rules, how to be careful. It's different when you're getting older and you're in the mid-20s, late 20s, and you now know the rules of what you can and cannot do. And you're more careful now, we have to worry about before. So that's first. Then second, worry about the values of the company. There's some companies that are very face-driven, and there's some that aren't, but none of them want bad behavior. And the worst if you're front-facing, so you have to worry about that. So that's how I try to be careful about it. My full name is not on any of my handles, so you don't find it that easy, but it's there, and I do tweet on Instagram, my brand. Yeah, so that's it. But I do tweet on Instagram about my brand, so that's a choice. So I'm very careful that it can't be something nefarious or vulgar right after a brand post, or right before a brand post. You have to look about what your other employees are doing. It's no different from walking out in a brand new t-shirt and cussing out somebody on the road or insulting somebody while wearing it. You are always on, and you have to think about it.
Very good point.
Thank you for the question. I'm just going to second what he said. I mean, okay, so I'm a social media lover, okay, and I'm extremely opinionated about sports, politics, everything that goes across the board. And one of the things that even I, as Terry Curran had to do is really filter and to not necessarily, I mean, Marky, if you follow me on Twitter, you're going to see me say, why Golden State boy? You're going to see that. You're going to see the A's and the O's, because that's just my personality. However, what I found is that and as employees, we certainly have to filter, and maybe that very first thought is not necessarily the first thing that we should be typing. We really just need to be like, okay, this is what I would type, and then I would actually delete that. And this is what I really need to say. Now, in regards to brands, and I think brands need to do a better job. Again, the Gleaner company is really old, and there are a good amount of us managers on social media, but not a lot of us are using it in the manner that maybe I use it. And I think it needs to be a little bit better. I think HR needs to do better in terms of not trolling or lurking necessarily, but they certainly need to do a better job at really going through and seeing who has, who is using their platforms in a responsible manner. For us, for example, we certainly have a policy, not just for social media, but just in general, just like what Andrew said, if it's just like being in your uniform, school or work or otherwise, if you do or say anything that can bring the company in disrepute, if you say something that would possibly be libelous, even though you're saying it, that they can link it to the company that you work for. Once you do that, then you certainly have to come in and have a talk. Some people don't always know this, so we have to say, listen, if it's really bad, you have to come in, you have to speak. This is how we should have better handle the situation. But I think more brands need to pay attention to their social media platforms.
Definitely agree to some of that. In terms of a lot of companies now are developing a fully unique communication policy that does only cover interviews and etc. But also cover the policy of how you interact with social media if you're employed by a particular company, because it can cost companies millions of US dollars in terms of losses just from one word that you say, because you are the brand of the company you represent. And one of the other things that most people haven't really discussed, I know Minister Julian has been working significantly on that, as well as these other people, is how people use your name to drive negative publicity. So you can be a brand of an organization, but then someone creates a fake account in your name, and then you're the one who gets into trouble. But there in Jamaica, there needs to be more push in terms of how we look at the legal aspect of how people use your name in a negative or dark way to damage your brand and product, and how do you protect? And I guess Minister Hannah will go to how do you protect our young people against some of those things? Because you listen to a lot of young people, have been attacked on social media, and their personal brand, not just a company brand now. We're talking about a young person's personal brand and being attacked on social media. And you can listen to more and more young people as they say, you something you get broadcasts and say that, oh, my account has been hacked, or for example, the person was Andrew Brown, and say person might create a new account called Andrew Brown 1, and then you believe it's Andrew saying the images, etc., that they have taken down from their page. So we as brands, as personal brands, have to find a way to protect ourselves and differentiate ourselves from the general public. And from a corporate brand, we have to be able to communicate with our internal consumers, which are employees, to say, whatever you put up there on the platform, you have to be careful, because it not only damages your personal brand, but also damages the company brand.
And those are good points. Definitely coming from an employee side, but even as an employer, as an entrepreneur, you have the responsibility of making sure what you put out there does not negatively represent your team, your employees, your company as well. And then of course there's a personal side where it might also reflect on your family, your friends as well. So it's always good to keep those things in mind. Do you have any more questions?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kashta Thompson. Quick question for everybody, or anybody who wants to answer. How has social media helped with your company's ROI or ROR, and how is it that you and me, or how do you calculate that for the brands? Thank you.
Who wants to start?
Okay, so for example, back in the day for the Keynote company, we print, we distribute, we make money based on those sales, and we kept it moving. With social media now, as mentioned before, the newsroom, I call it the beehive. When you walk in there, we have this massive digital screen. And at any point in time, I think you guys were in a meeting with me the other day, and they thought it was like, it was really cool, because when you come in, we can show you, for example, which articles on the Gleaner have been read the most for the week, which articles on the Star have been read the most for the week. Then we were able to show you across the Gleaner and the Star which were the top stories, but not just the week, but the month. And we're able to use those analytics, and what we basically use is that shows us the importance. Now, is it sports? Is it human interest? Is it politics? Based on what we see from the stats, the newsroom basically goes back, they meet and they say, okay, this is a hot topic. We might have thought that this was a story. This is not the story. Then when we check social media now and we're seeing the questions, we're saying, okay, there are additional questions that users and readers are asking that maybe we didn't cover in the first story. So now we use that, and what we notice is that when we do things and when we follow the analytics and we follow through with the articles, it also increases sales, because people now go, oh, so that's the reason why. So we're actually not just going, oh, I have a lot of followers and oh, they're saying this, but we're actually looking at what they're reading, what they're liking, what they're clicking, and then we're following through. And we're seeing that when we do that, we definitely get more.
It's not the physical newspaper that's selling it, the ads on social media that's selling?
Pardon?
I'm asking in terms of your ROI. Your increases in sales are not from your physical newspaper. You're able to demonstrate from your social media platforms in terms of what you're going to generate and start selling more advertisements so that people come on your page.
Absolutely.
That's where it comes from.
No, that goes as well. But what we realize is when people actually read the newspapers, I mean, you'll always have, for example, you'll always have people who buy your newspapers or when it's distributed. You can't always tell, for example, how many people necessarily read one. But what we realize is that when we're following up a story or we're publishing a particular story, we actually realize when we're, like, for example, the GSAT stories. The GSAT stories came out, we started publishing it. And because there's general interest in the GSAT story, but because we had such a wonderful amount, we actually do see.
I think what I'm trying to get at for my own thing, that's a seasonal story. So everybody can expect every year GSAT will actually have increases in sales both in the physical newspaper and you probably push some ads.
Right.
But I'm trying to understand, and from the question, and I'm not sure.
Cash flow.
Cash flow. In terms of your online platforms, when you have the connectivity and the attention, are you able to sell your advertisements at premium prices?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So whenever we do have those hits and our advertisers come to us, we can definitely say, listen, these are your premium pages, these are the hits that you get, this is the reach that you get, this is the reach that you're getting globally, where you're getting your reach. So if you want to, for example, geo-target the US, you're getting that in this particular number. So we definitely use that for ROI online as well for advertising. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to take two more questions. We have a gentleman, the gentleman behind Lindsay.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ryan Evans from the Sales and Marketing Department. And I guess your answer to the question was just an answer based on media. But I'm thinking in terms of yeah, so your answer was related to media. But I guess I want to get an answer from maybe digital or CV on an end consumer product. How do you measure your return on investment?
Very command.
So for us, significant. So how do we get them to interact with our product is that it comes back down to content and continuous. So what we do on a weekly or daily basis is we analyze all our posting to see where consumers more like what they tweet more, what they like more, or what they interact with more. And then from that we develop a new strategy for the next day, for the next week, etc. And that allows us to keep the content going. It also allows us to create the continuous content strategy for the next year or for the next day. Because you want, as we said earlier, you want consumers to follow your page, not for only the commercial elements that you post, but for the interactive person. And like Andrew said before, which is Stevie, he said that a lot of consumers don't want to follow your pages just for the post that you there that's there, but you don't actually want to follow your post was interesting. And brands such as ours are very difficult getting consumers to continuously look at our brands. If you look at other telecommunication brands across the US, etc., they probably don't have the same traction as the digital brand because of the content that we post to attract the consumers continuously. So what we really track is the strong awareness and connectivity because we want to keep the consumers close to us and want to provide them with information.
Thank you, Kamal. The gentleman in the white shirt, white and black shirt.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kyle Algren. I'm a marketing student and incoming vice president for the Marketing Association. Okay, backtracking a bit to the discussion earlier about brands and social media. It's so ironic that this is being discussed because there's a prime example of this morning where a local he's a comedian. He was being attacked by a DJ, about his sexual orientation. It so happened that the comedian responded to him and said that hey, a popular radio station that he works at isn't really popular. So apparently, the radio station searched their handle and saw what was going on, and they posted a statement online saying that they're going to take corrective actions against that person because of his association. And so it's just a prime example to show that what you say on social media and what you're affiliated to affects everything. So you have to be really careful. But really and truly, my question is, as it relates to social media engagement and timely responses, I've noticed cases where a person would ask a question or pose a valid query, but they get no response. So what are ways in which social media managers or companies, ensure that persons do get their timely responses? Because it does affect your customers and it does affect how someone feels about your brand.
Good question. Andrew?
Okay. Well, with some of the platforms, you actually have the question and answer rate and engagement rate. So with our brands or contractors, some of the brands are in-house, some are contracted, do reports, and some of the reports will say question and answer rate 100%, 80%, 70%. It's difficult. You don't usually have enough manpower to be crafting strategy and answering all the questions all the time, but you try to catch up with them at least by the end of the week. If you look through them, you can see which ones are burning, and then you try and do those first, then you get to the others later. And you really try and leave none hanging. There will always actually be some money. It's almost impossible. Largely are. I can't imagine trying to answer the questions on that page. They have a 24/7 I'm sure you can put just at customer care center, like 500 people that's typing constantly. And a lot of the times, you sometimes don't want to answer the question. Like, people ask you something and you go, really? And some of the statements that come on, like, on our poor brands, you will find some members of particular religious communities coming on and just blazing fire all the time. And you're like, why? And they already pose a question while blazing the fire, and you have to answer it. But you have to, when you get to it. Something you try really hard to encourage, and I wish all of our brands were better, to be quite honest.
Just very briefly, for us it depends. I mean, you always want to try to respond to them in as timely a manner as possible, especially when you have various people who are also on your or are your social media managers. Sometimes you get a query and you want to just be able to respond, but sometimes you have to actually defer. You have to find the person who's in a better position to answer that question, and not all the time you're going to find that person right away. So sometimes you won't necessarily give a good answer or I should say give a timely answer, but what I always say is for brands like us who somebody might ask a particular question or ask a question about a person or name, they actually include someone's name, then we might have to tell them, okay, we got your question, duly noted, we're gonna get back to you, soon come. I think that is better than just ignoring them, but sometimes we have to go to the newsroom and say, hey, someone asked a question and I don't think we just want to necessarily respond to them, because then that response becomes a response on behalf of the company. So sometimes some brands may not necessarily respond, not because they don't want to, but because they certainly need to find that person who can authorize a particular response.
I was actually hoping to kind of move that question to Minister Anna. How do you manage as a cabinet minister your personal opinion on your personal page, because it is personal, it also has ministry work, when you might deviate from a cabinet position, or how do you decide whether to wade into a particular fray? For example, when you waded into Juanita's discussion about the President of the United States, you chose that knowing that there's going to be a backlash and a firestorm there. And then if there's a cabinet position that's a hot topic, persons are asking, or you have a deviated position, mention it. How do you manage that?
Well, the first thing with cabinet is you have collective responsibility. So in terms of deviations, you steer away from questions like that. I mean, if I'm asked a particular position on a cabinet decision, it's a cabinet decision. So it's the collective responsibility of the government, and that's what has been done. In terms of things, for instance, and this is where brands also come into play. If a brand asks a question and a traditional media house needs news, whether radio, newspapers, or TV, they can actually look on your commentary and take that as a source. And they can use it and they can prolong a discourse and a conversation. So you also have to be very careful about how you say what you say. The issue with Chronix is that I do have culture. And so it wasn't a personal opinion. It was a position also on policy. Because if you have persons, and I like Chronix a lot, you know, the lyrics that I music there, and they have kept on as good friends. So it's not a situation that I am coming out against Chronix, but you have to temper, for instance, there's a number of young people out there that you're trying to guide in being responsible in terms of the outbursts that they make, knowing fully well that they will also have to position themselves in certain markets. And so you're teaching that value system, and you're also trying to say to an entertainer, look, culturally, this is not the best position to take at this time. And so my commentary was not personal. It was not something that was meant to obfuscate my responsibilities as a minister. But I think we also have a responsibility as legislators to speak not only on paper and policy, but to impart values in the country. And I think whereas in Singapore, values are legislated by the state, we don't have that luxury in a democracy. And so I feel it is also incumbent on me to also steer somebody when I think that they're deviating from a particular position that will carry them on a wrong path. It creates a sensational mix of conversations, but I think the traditional media does that. Because if you read the conversations between Chronix and myself on Instagram, it's not hostile.